I love talking to families about actual sleep training success stories and what the process of sleep training entails. So it does not look like putting your baby in the crib and yay, after one night, they're magically sleeping through the night. That is not real. It often is a big roller coaster. Let's talk about what sleep training looks like for a 6-month-old real baby, not a unicorn. Hi, my name is Sarah Bossio, and as the lead certified pediatric sleep expert, I have sleep trained hundreds and hundreds of real babies, not any unicorns. And I'm really looking forward to maybe sleep training your baby one day and for you to learn more about this real baby and her experience. To protect this baby's anonymity, we are going to change her name to Rosie, and I'm going to change the age just slightly. So her age is going to be 8 months old, but I'm going to use all of the other precursors and information so that you have a really good idea of what was going on before, during, and after the sleep training process, if this is something that you can relate to and understand actually what happened during sleep training and kind of how we pivoted. The big takeaway from this family is that we started out with one method and we actually had to change to another one. And this is a big lesson. Sometimes we have in our mind set out exactly the way that we want to sleep train, and the baby tells us, yeah, no, that's not what I want to do. And mom and dad, you've got to change. Parents, let this be a lesson for all of us. We sometimes have plans and our babies decide differently, right? So we've got to change, and that's all right. Let's talk about the before. So before sleep training, baby was not an independent sleeper and mom was okay with that. So we were nursing to sleep a little bit, and then we had transitioned to bottles. So there was a lot of falling asleep by the bottle, and sometimes in the crib, sometimes we were co-sleeping. Things weren't really terrible, so we were getting some stretches of sleep, 3 or 4 hours. Most nights, we had gone on vacation and things kind of tanked. We had gotten to a point where we were at that point up every hour. Even the bottles weren't putting our baby back to sleep. By the time mom and dad reached out to me, the baby was doing this really weird falling asleep at the bottle. Sometime around 8 p.m. would take like a nap until about 8:45 and then would be awake, and then would be awake for like 2 solid hours. And then from there would be up every hour. And when mom contacted me, she had said, I was completely against sleep training. This is something I had zero desire to do. But what I'm realizing is that my child is really tired. She's only napping 30 minutes 3 times a day, so she's not even making up her sleep in the daytime. I can't function because I have a very stressful job during the day. My husband does work from home, but yeah, he works from home. It's not like he can take naps during the day either, and it's really affecting everything in our family. So I know we have to sleep train. However, I am adamant that it has to be something that's gradual. And when the parents talked together, I said, okay, so I respect mom and I really want to make sure that we are doing gradual because we really want to make sure mom's comfortable. We're not going to follow through with the method if mom's not comfortable with it. Dad had said, well, I don't think she's going to do really well. I think Rosie really needs less intervention. I think that she needs a little more independence. And I said, okay, Dad, so I hear you too. However, we need to have mom feel good about this, especially because she was so against sleep training from the get-go. And then, mom, you have to be able to meet dad halfway if we see that Rosie is not feeling good, right? We got to let Rosie kind of be the lead on this. So we went with the chair method, which is really the most involved method that we can do at 8 months old. And the bedtime did not go as bad as I thought it would from a log perspective. So we moved bedtime much earlier to 7 o'clock. We removed that bedtime bottle, meaning we put it at the beginning of the bedtime, put her in the crib awake, and dad was the person who took the lead. So this was really important because mom was having a really hard time, number one, with the actual sleep training part of it. She didn't want to be totally involved with the crying, right? And there was a really, really deep connection, obviously, with baby and mom, and it would have been easier for Rosie to be able to do this process if dad was there. Rosie went in the crib at 7, fell asleep at 8:30, and dad said there was actually a long period of time where she was soothing. However, here's where things went south. So Rosie woke up at 9, went back to sleep at 10, which isn't too uncommon to see that false start. Usually it's not that long of a period of time, but we're gonna give her a little bit of grace because it was the first night. Then what we saw was definitely not common at all, even for the first night of sleep training. Rosie woke up at 1 o'clock, and we did incorporate a night feeding because she was receiving several night feedings. I'm a really big believer that even if the pediatrician said to reduce the night feedings, I don't love to drop them cold turkey if a baby has already been given them. It's really hard for the body to just drop those calories altogether, and I don't want to shock the system. I don't want to make mom nervous that what if the baby's hungry and she's crying out of hunger, right? It's just easier to feed. So the baby was fed, and then even after that feeding, after 1 o'clock, she was up for 3 full hours with dad in the chair. She fell asleep for 5 minutes at 4 o'clock in the morning and then was up for the day. So in that night, she slept a total of, I think, 3.5 hours, if I'm doing my math correctly now. And it was a really, really rough night for the parents. Mom was not happy, obviously, understandably so. Everybody was exhausted, the baby was exhausted, and this is when I hop on a phone call right away to really reassess and see where we were gonna go from there. I am really proud of mom because 2 nights prior, she was very adamant that chair method had to be the method. And I said to her, listen, I know that this is something you felt very strongly about. 72 hours ago, you had zero desire to sleep train, and 48 hours ago, you had finally come to terms with doing chair method. And now we're at a place where I'm about to tell you tonight, the best choice for you is gonna go to time checks. So you're making a lot of swift changes in a very short period of time. But for Rosie, for the health and the wellness of your child, I promise you, you just have to trust me and trust the process. We need to move to a different method. And she said, okay, I'm just gonna kind of let it go and trust you, and I know that what you're doing and this is best. We're gonna move to time checks. And I'm so happy that she did, because night 2, we put her in bed at 6:30 and the baby fell asleep at 7, so 30 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half. She slept straight through until 2:30, where she had her feeding, and she woke up at 2:30. She fell back asleep at 3 o'clock and then woke up for the day at 6:45. So without that night feeding, she slept 11.5 hours, right? 12 hours total, 11.5 if you count the night feeding, and continued to see successful nights from there. Obviously, if I look at the whole scale of things, there were some nights on and off where we had a few more wake-ups earlier on in the night. We definitely spent some time sorting out naps, but what I want to really drive home to parents is that sometimes we go into sleep training and we're even working with a professional and we have a plan and we say, this is what I want to do, and I am ready and I have the structure and I am prepared, and then our child is like, hell to the no. This is when I want you to listen to your kid, and I want you to change the method, and I want you to trust who you're working with to know best. If there ever is an excessive amount of crying, something is off, and it could be the method, it could be the way we put the child down, it could be the schedule, it could be something like they're uncomfortable, right? They've got a burp, they ate something funny. I just want you to be able to take a pause, and I also want you to reach out for help. There are professionals like me who do this for a living to be able to help out parents like you and take the mental load off so that you can have success just like Rosie, who now, months later, is sleeping completely through the night, 11 straight hours without a night feeding, and taking 2 solid naps every day, who have 2 very, very happy parents who are actually trying for their second child, because guess what? Everybody is getting the sleep that they need. If you are looking for one-on-one help and need some advice from a sleep expert just like me, I am going to leave information about how to book a call just to learn about my programs. It's free, it's 15 minutes, it's in the description. And while you're on your way down there, make sure that you leave a like so that you can give some love to Rosie and her family, who did such a great job really modifying the way that they were approaching sleep training. If you have a question about sleep training, leave it in the comments. I'm the one who answers them. I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because I publish sleep content that is all about like nap schedules and what to do for time checks, what to do for chair method, etc. Because I don't want you to be sleep deprived. I want you to be well rested because you're a parent and you deserve sleep. I love teaching you about it. It's my passion, and I love that you're here. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you again next time.